So this video, very honestly, it is not for the guys that are too high in their ego. I was very high in my ego. I thought I was on top of the fucking world. And I've spoken to many young entrepreneurs, especially male entrepreneurs, who know that they're doing the wrong thing, but they're just too high in their ego. They still think that, you know, it's not that bad and this and that. And I'm not sure if this video is for you guys. Because, I don't know, I think you guys really need to, you're so fucking stubborn that you need to feel the pain. And if this triggers you and you're like, well, no, that's not me, then take these fucking questions that I have serious. And take yourself serious. Man, you know how many guys I've spoken to in the past months that come to me because they ask for help, and then you pretend like it's not that bad. You're taking fucking cocaine every weekend. You're spending 5 to 10 grand a month on drugs. You look like fucking shit. You're not jacked. You're not healthy. You look tired. You're nowhere near the guy that you can be. And you keep telling yourself this fucking story. Excuse my language. I'm speaking to the younger version of myself right now in the hope that you won't make the same mistakes that I did. That you have the fucking insight and the courage to choose differently, to see what's going to fucking happen, and to decide to take a different path. To decide not to wait for rock bottom to hit you, but to decide and to have the courage to just see it happening and to show up for yourself. To just tap into the version of you that you know is there. That takes real courage. That is a real man, because that requires you to be so honest with yourself, and it requires you to put your ego to the side, and there's not a lot of men that can do that. So if you are that guy, then this video is going to help you. But if you're not, then you're just going to ignore this advice that I'm going to give you, and you're going to have to fucking face your rock bottom, and you're going to think about this moment. And look, it's going to be all right. You're going to turn it around, and you're going to make an amazing life, right? But you could have prevented it. That's all I'm saying. I could have prevented it. The whole reason why I'm making these videos is because I know that there are still people out there like how I was, that need help, that need to understand and receive this message, and that are heading down a path of disaster. That is why I'm making these videos. I'm making these videos for my younger self, for the guys that are smart enough to understand where they are going, and that are smart enough to understand that if they change, they could be so much more than they are now. More money, better physique, better health, better mindset, everything better. So, let's dive into it. There are 5 questions that I have for you. The first question is, if someone could watch your life for the past 30 to 60 days, what would they conclude you value and you prioritize? When I had to ask myself this question, I could only look at my actions. I was very good at saying that I'd value this and I'd prioritize that, you know. I'd valued my health and this and that, but I was taking drugs in the weekends. I was drinking alcohol. I wasn't really eating the right foods, you know. I was better than most. I was better than average, I would say, when it came to my physique. But when it came to my health with the drugs and all that kind of stuff, no fucking way. And this question forced me to just look at myself from a different perspective. And that's the idea with all of these questions, is that it forces you to look at yourself without judgment from a different perspective. Like, stop being so fucking self-centered for a while, okay? And there's a really good exercise that you can do, like a phrase that I use, which is called, what would a wise man see here? So put yourself, I call him Master Chi. Put yourself in the body of Master Chi. He's up there floating around and he's looking down at you, and he's just looking at you, right? And he's seeing what you're doing, and he's been seeing what you've been doing over the past 30 to 60 days. What would Master Chi, a wise old man, enlightened and spiritually aware, what would he see? What would he conclude about your life? So put yourself in a third person. Stop judging yourself. Stop being self-centered. Stop being biased. Just simply look at your life. And this is why most people can't fucking answer this honestly. Because the truth that will come out of this for a lot of you guys is going to be so fucking uncomfortable. But I promise you, if you do it, it will change your fucking life, okay? Question number 2. What would my life look like if I just decided the right things every single day? I was constantly making decisions, and afterwards I would constantly tell myself, why did I do this? And I would, constantly suffer the consequences of decisions that I'd made. And I always figured, how is it that I'm always choosing the wrong things, or how is it always that I'm regretting things that I've done? So I asked myself, well, what would life look like if I actually made the right decisions? How would I feel? What would I do? What would my life look like? How would I wake up every single day? What kind of friends and relationships would I have? Like, I really asked myself this question because I knew that I was making a lot of wrong decisions, especially when it came to like vices and all those kinds of things and reckless spending. I knew it. I asked myself, well, what would Jesse look like if he just made the right decisions? And what are the right decisions? The right decisions are the decisions that are tied to the highest and most authentic version of you, to the real you, to the version that is inside that you've been burying for such a long time. What would that guy decide? And it allowed me to open up my perspective and to see what kind of decisions am I making that are not aligned with who I really am. And I understood that I was making a lot of decisions based on what others expected of me. I was a big people pleaser. Even if I don't like to admit that, but a lot of guys don't like to admit that, but I was a big people pleaser. I was making a lot of decisions to be a part of groups and to be seen as someone and all of this stuff. I was making a lot of decisions for creating a certain image, but not for what I wanted. And with every single one of those decisions, I stepped away a little bit further from myself, from my true authentic self. I gave myself away more to people that you have to make decisions for yourself, okay? Question number 3, what part of who you are playing right now do you despise? So I had to ask myself this question because I was very fake. I wasn't authentic, I wasn't myself, and I didn't like the person that I had become. And I had to ask myself, well, what is that specific part of myself that I don't like? And it's the people-pleasing side, it's the, look at me, I'm trying to be cool side, that part. I didn't like that part of myself. I didn't like the part that, was on Friday night, couldn't even sit still and needed to go out and already bought like 2 grams of cocaine and some 2C and all of that stuff. I didn't like that part of myself. I despised that part, but I always despised and hated that part the morning after, right? When that part had literally taken over control. You need to see this part of you in order to distance yourself from it. You need to be very, very aware of this part of you that is taking over control, that wants certain things, the desires of the flesh, for example. You have to ask yourself, why am I still playing this character? Why am I doing something that I'm not really, why am I doing something that I don't really want to do? Why am I playing this version of me that I don't really want to be, that I know is not going to sustain, that I know is not going to help me build meaningful relationships or build a good relationship and a healthy relationship with myself, for that matter? Because if there's a part of you that you don't like and that's constantly taking control, then you're literally just hating yourself. And that creates a very negative internal loop of, I don't deserve certain things, I hate myself. And that's not going to help you in anything that you do in life, which is going to be meaningful. Relationship, business, friends, anything, right? If you have a part of yourself that you hate, because then you cannot fully allow and give yourself to the world. You cannot fully love yourself. And the moment that you fully love yourself and give yourself to the world is the moment where great things happen. Question number 4, do you actually trust yourself? And be honest, radically honest. Right now, do you actually trust yourself? If you look at who you are, if you look at all the things that you said you were going to do and the actual things that you do you actually trust yourself? If you were to position yourself again outside, right? And someone were to fully trust you, but you know everything about you, would you then trust yourself? Do you follow up on your word? Do you follow through? Be radically honest with that question, because that question will say a lot about you. And if you answer it honestly, in the truth is the beginning of change, my friend. That is where it lies. People always say, change lies on the other side of fear. Yeah, and what is the thing that we fear? It is the fucking truth. And then question number 5. This is not a question that I ask myself, but it's a question that I want to ask you. Because if you have not gone through a rock bottom moment, for example, right? But you know that there is more to you than you are now. You know that there is a version of you inside. You know that there's so much more potential that you're not tapping into now. Then this question is gold for you. What do you believe needs to happen in order for you to actually change and take yourself serious? Ask yourself that question. What needs to happen? Do you need to hit rock bottom just like me? Do you need to lose someone that you love? Do you need to be betrayed? Do you need to get a health scare and end up in the hospital for something? What needs to happen for you to finally change, to take yourself serious, to stop the fucking bullshit, to stop the excuses, to stop the narratives that you keep creating for yourself as to why you can keep playing this Timu version of yourself? What needs to happen? What are you waiting for? Figure that one out. Take action right away. Don't wait for your rock bottom moment. If you know that you can change it up front. And again, guys, this takes courage. This is not an easy thing to do, okay? I was not courageous. Yes, I went through rock bottom, and it's one of the biggest blessings in my life because it brought me to Jesus, it brought me to God, it brought me to become the best version of myself, right? And I'm able to help people now as well because of that. I have a purpose. I'm fulfilled with what I'm doing, yes. But I also want you to understand that there is no romanticizing what happened, okay? And there is glory and courage and strength and honor in recognizing yourself before rock bottom. That takes real courage, in my opinion. That takes real strength. That is something that you can romanticize. When you can see, I saw where it was going to happen. I saw what I was doing. I saw how I was playing this mild fucking version of myself. I saw the excuses. I saw the bullshit in my life, and I decided to cut it out. That is real strength. That is courageous, because it forces you to leave behind who you are and to, by choice, step into someone new. And that choice is, it's comfortable to stay who you are. It's comfortable to believe your life. It's comfortable to not look at the truth and not accept that there are things about you that you know you need to change, because we like to think that we're all perfect, but we're not. We like to think that the way that we live, it's good. We like to think that, you know what, these things don't happen to me. I'm special. And that's what I'm trying to say. You are special, but you're not seeing it. You're not tapping into that specialness that is inside of you. Again, it takes real courage for a man to recognize his own lies, to recognize his own bullshit, to recognize the stories and the narratives that he creates to keep himself in a comfortable position, to keep himself from changing, because we don't want to change. Deep down, change is scary. It's new. So these are the 5 questions. If you take them serious, they will open up something for you. They will give you clarity. They will show you where you are fucking about. They will show you where you are being someone less than who you are. I know that I'm direct. I know that I'm hard, but it's only because I've come to realize after hitting rock bottom how much power and strength and how much of the real me I was hiding. You are so much stronger, so much more than you could possibly think. And I want you to fucking see that, all right? That's why I'm so passionate about this, because I've seen it in myself. I've seen how I played this Timu, this half-assed fucking version of me. Not even half-assed. I was playing on 10% of who I could actually be. There's so much greatness in us, and it scares us almost to see that, because when we see it, it forces us to leave behind all of the bullshit that we are creating for ourselves now to stay comfortable. But if you have the fucking balls to do that, if you have the courage to look at yourself like that, then you can change. And that's when you become the best version of yourself. Change starts with truth, and the truth, my friend, shall set you free. That's it for this video, guys. I hope it was of value to you. My DMs, like always, are open if you need to chat, if you have any questions, and you can check the links in the description for more information as well. And guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.